I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, December the 29th, brought to you in part by Norphenacol by Norbrook. Make Norphenacol your first choice antibiotic to get to the bottom of BRD. It is the bioequivalent of Nuflor with advantages. It's not as thick. It's more syringeable, and you guys know what I'm talking about if you've tried to use Nuflor, especially when it's cold outside. It comes in a plastic bottle, which is an advantage there. You don't have as big a chance of losing the product. And it has a shorter sub-Q withdrawal than Nuflor. For more information, go to norbrook.com. New year and a clean slate. We're going into the new year with a lot of positives here. I think our feeder cattle market on the cash side is going to be positive. Everybody's getting kind of anxious to get back into sales and get to buying cattle again. It's been extremely quiet over the last 2 weeks with the way that the holidays fell. Just not very much going on at all. Our fed cattle market on the cash side is a little bit higher here to end the year. Not a lot higher, but at least it's on the upswing. And the Packers have had their challenges too. I mean, we give the Packers a hard time, but they've definitely had their challenges. They've had a hard time getting any kind of a rally going on the box beef cutout values. Their November beef cold storage has been down all year. They haven't had a lot of stocks to feed from out of their freezers there. It is kind of on the upswing seasonally, but still your November beef cold storage was down 13.1% compared to the same time a year ago. So that's a lot less product that they have backed up in their freezers there. They've also lost a lot of ground on their byproducts. The steer, hide, and offal values have fell from just over $14 a hundred to start the year of 2023 to ending the year just under $12 a hundred. And that's something that they really count on. And it's usually pretty constant there, but we've just lost a lot of ground there on our byproduct values. So, you know, the Packers have had their struggles. They continue to try to buy cattle cheaper, and they have a jillion different ways to try to do it. It's up to the cattle sellers to try to get back some leverage and try to get back some trade in the industry, in the fed cattle arena. And they haven't bought. Packers haven't bought hardly any cattle on the open cash negotiated market here for quite a while. So maybe they need to buy some now. But we were able to get, you know, from 50 cents to $1 better out of them here late this week, the last week going out to the last part of 2023. Got a little bit more information to give you. As we get closer to getting through these holidays. My gosh, it seems like they've been going on forever. You remember a few visits ago, I talked to you about the Hubach farms there in King City, Missouri. Wes Tiemann, a sales manager there in Missouri, he had their sale. It was on Wednesday, and they were selling 250 head, a complete spring herd dispersal there. Just outside of King City, and they had really fancy cattle. It was a purebred commercial herd, but some of the best genetics in it that you can find anywhere. They sold those cattle on DVAuction there on Wednesday, from bred heifers up to young 6-year-old cows there. They bring from $2,550 to $3,300 per head, with an average price of $28.87. I thought that was pretty impressive. It's the last report at the end of the month, guys. It's time for our Punchy Pick winners. And so you guys know all about the Punchy Pick of the Month contest. To send your Punchy Picks in. We pick out the best ones, and here over the last several months we've been picking out the kids' corral, because we tend to get a lot of photos of children, and they're not quite as punchy as what we'd like for our Punchy winner, but we also like to recognize them. But we'll start out here with Brandon Dixon. He sent in a picture of his wife rescuing a lost calf there, and she's carrying it out of there. She's not scared, with help from their 3 daughters. You notice one daughter's behind there holding that calf up on her shoulders, and it appeared that the calf was actually posing for that picture. I assume for the 3rd daughter there, but that was a pretty good picture for the Kids Corral to get some recognition. How about Carolyn Schwarzentruber from southern Iowa? This is their 10-year-old Simon helping his dad doctor some cattle there near Lamona, Iowa there. Thought that was a pretty cool picture for the Kids Corral. And then also Kent Perry from State Line, Mississippi sent in a picture of him and his nephew. He took the picture of his nephew, Perry Allen, helping check those new calves that they just got in their stockers. But pretty cool pics for the Kids Corral. Now for the Punchy Pick of the Month winners. 3rd place is Kenny Marr from Riceville, Iowa. And his caption was, when you've got one that you can't get your hands on, sometimes you have to get out the portable squeeze chute. And if you can imagine this, his portable squeeze chute doubles as a snow pusher and a shit scraper, and luckily he had some guardrail fencing there that he could push that cow up against and treat her like he needed to. But that was a pretty cool Punchy pick there for 3rd place. 2nd place Punchy pick is Nicole Hill, and her picture is of Old Maroon. I assume that's what she calls that feed truck there. But the dangers of rolling out a bale with your front bumper with your 4-wheel drive on, sometimes it can grab a hold there, try to climb the bale and then dump over on its side. But that's kind of what happened with Old Maroon there. The cattle went ahead and emptied out the feed box there. It didn't bother them how she put it out. But she also noted that 2 weeks later she caught Old Maroon on fire, and they did put it out with some Keystone beer cans there that they had. But that's a daily driver, and says it is for sale if some of you guys would be interested in buying Old Maroon. But the punchiest pick of the month that we got, and I'll grant you it could have been in the Kids Corral also, but if you look at this pick, this is a punchy pick, guys. 1st place winner of all the prizes. They get all the cool swag from Beaver Feed, from Beaver County Stockyards, and the whole case of Fair Piece is a picture sent in by Heather Hartley of Jackson, Ohio. This is a picture of 10-year-old Kayla Spangler of Plum Road Cattle Company. She is bearing down on that rope. I assume she's got it dallied around the brace on that side by side. She is bearing down on that rope and using her foot for leverage there to keep a hold of that calf. And it appears she's the only thing between that calf getting away or keeping it. And I'm not sure what Heather was doing. If she took this picture, she should have been helping Kayla out. But I thought this was a pretty punchy pick there. It involved some young people helping out there with production, and I thought it was a great picture there to win the Punchy Pick of the Month contest. Let's talk about your board. On Thursday, December live cattle futures were up 47 cents at 170.120. Now they're mature right now. They were up basically just because we got a little bit higher market in our cash fed cattle sales. You get to the future months there. February was down 35 cents, which is not horrible, but at 168.92. Your back months were mostly all lower, as much as 70 cents lower, going all the way out to the farthest traded month out, which is April of 25, and it was up 20 cents. Feeder cattle futures for January down $2, but they've been up pretty good here through the holidays. It doesn't have anything to do with that slightly bearish cattle on feed report. That's just the way that the futures go, especially your feeder futures. They're volatile and they go up and they go down, and I wouldn't take a whole lot of stock in being down as much as it was here on Thursday. Probably be up on Friday, but down $2 at 222.47. March was down 227 at 223.12. And your back months on feeder cattle were down 72 cents to down $1.97. Your grain futures, Chicago Board of Trade futures, March corn was down 2 1/4 cents at 474 1/4. January beans down 11 1/2 at 1305 1/4. March Kansas City hard red winter wheat was up 8 3/4 cents at 643 3/4. Fat cattle trade did take loose on Thursday. We hadn't had any direct trade of fed cattle all this week, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Of course, we wouldn't have had any on Christmas Day, but didn't have any on Tuesday or Wednesday. On Thursday, we did see it break loose, and it was some higher. Not a lot higher, but enough to notice there. Iowa sold 4,100 head before 2 o'clock on Thursday there. Live sales from 170 to 172.50, which is steady to 50 cents higher. Dress trade was at 270. Nebraska, just 300 head sales. They were getting 172 bids in Nebraska on Thursday afternoon. They were wanting more. I'm not sure if they went ahead and took the 172 late in the afternoon on Thursday or were able to get 173, but the only thing that we saw confirmed on Thursday was some dress trade at 272, and with that dress trade out of Iowa, 270 to 272, that's steady to a buck higher there on a dress basis. Kansas sold 5,600 head, which is pretty good one-day movement for them, all at 172. That's a buck higher. Texas sold 3,100 head. There was a little dab there at 170, but mostly all at 172, which was a buck higher for them also. Box beef cutout values were lower on Thursday, and they've just had a real struggle. Packers have getting those box beef cutout values any higher. Choice cuts were down 20 cents at 291.28. Selects down a $1.08 at 259.24. Your slaughter, very difficult to compare with the holiday week, but up through Thursday, 350,000 head estimated harvest there on cattle. Of course, a week ago at this point, we were at 497 on our way to 621. But same holiday week a year ago was 380, so we're down 30,000 there on a comparable holiday week a year ago. Actual slaughter information come back for the week ending December the 16th. Had our average dressed steer carcass weight at 941 pounds, which is gigantic, and we ought to be starting to get to the highs of those, and they ought to start coming down a little bit more. But 941 pounds was 2 pounds bigger than the previous report, 14 pounds bigger than the same report a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. Lynn's Heritage Angus. If you're serious about adding value to a calf crop and interested in getting harvest data back, give Lynn's Heritage Angus bulls a try. One of the few outfits willing to purchase or partner on customers' cattle, they will be an excellent source to generate more profit and give you a better idea of where your cow herd is genetically for carcass traits. Cattle are fed at Tempest Feedlot there in southeastern Colorado. Get a hold of Anthony Randall with Lynn's Heritage Angus and see what they have to offer you. They're going to be having a sale here middle of this month on DVAuction, and we're going to give you more information about that as we get closer to it. Talk about your feeder cattle market. What little feeder cattle market we've had over the last week and a half or so. It's your real-time index on DVAuction on thin receipts of less than 2,000 head in your 7 to 899 pound steers, cash auction steers up through your middle 12 states. But it was sitting at 227.21, up 193 on Thursday with just a few sales that sold at kind of a premium to what that average was. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index is 217.71. Coming to you from Columbus, Texas. Columbus Livestock's going to be having a special replacement sale. Be a lot of those F1 Brayfords there. I saw they had a lot of really nice replacement cattle there, guys. It's going to be starting at noon Central. If you guys are interested in some of that down here in South Texas or neighboring states and areas, get on to DVAuction there about noon and check this sale out. I'm going to be taking online bids. If you guys are in the area, come see me. Going to have a big stock cow and bred heifer sale at Stockman's Livestock Exchange in Dickinson, North Dakota, here today on Friday. If you guys are interested, way up in the North Country, check that one out. But your sales on Thursday, we did have some feeder cattle sales. None of them very big. Three notable sales that did have auctions on Thursday were Columbus, Nebraska, Bloomfield, Iowa, and Mitchell, South Dakota. But the sale at Mitchell wasn't nearly as big as what they were expecting because of snow and rain. It curbed receipts there, and a lot of producers ended up not sending their cattle into the sale, decided to wait till next week to send them. But your NationalBeefWire stick-out sale of the day was Bloomfield, Iowa. Bloomfield Livestock Market there. They had their MBO pre-vac sale there. These are commingled cattle there, helping small producers there in southeastern Iowa. But check out this automated market report through Cattle Market Central. You see 200 head of 5-weight steers, average 550 pounds with a weighted average price of $291.53. 221 head 6-weight steers, average 641 at $256.61. 265 head of 7-weight steer calves in Bloomfield, Iowa, average 729 with a weighted average price of $235.35. On the heifers, the best tested weights was your 6-weight heifers. There was 241 head of them. They averaged 621 with a weighted average price of $231.84. Give you a few individual quotes from those few three sales that did have auctions there during this holiday week. Columbus Sales Pavilion in Columbus, Nebraska sold 60 steers, weighed 731 and bring 235. Bloomfield, Iowa, for an individual quote, sold 73 steers, weighed 708 at 243 and a quarter. Pretty impressive there. But the most impressive quote we saw in light receipts on Thursday, and your Macrison, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Mitchell Livestock Marketing in Mitchell, South Dakota. It was 70 steers, weighed 622 and bring 270.50. That's your feeder flash for Thursday, or for Friday actually. Happy New Year. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.